Good evening, and a very warm welcome to all of you joining in today. I'm Supunika Pereira, and I will be your moderator for the evening. I would like to thank everyone for joining in for this session of the Flipside brought to you by Pick a Book. For those of you who may be joining us for the first time, I'd love to officially introduce you to this concept we call Pick a Book. It's an incredible initiative that was launched with the aim of igniting the love and passion for reading. And as the name suggests, it's a club where readers can select a book, read and research on it, and present the insights of the book to an audience. Pick a Book not only instills the habit of reading, but it also helps to set forth a wealth of knowledge while enhancing our readers' communication and public speaking skills. And on that note, I would love to welcome you to the flip side, where we will be engaging with successful individuals, influential personalities, in a conversation asking them to share with us how reading has helped them both personally and professionally. And we trust that everything that's shared today in this segment of the flip side will add great value to you as well. Today, we will be discussing two outstanding books. But before that, let me introduce you to the two amazing personalities who will be joining with us today. We have Venerable Kosala Lau Lau, born in Myanmar in 1999, who entered the monastic life at the age of 13 in 2012. He completed his diploma, BA, MA in Buddhist studies and currently is a student of in Buddhist Ayurvedic counseling at PGIPBS, University of Caledonia, Sri Lanka. He is also empowered by curiosity, loves exploring, traveling, reading, and engaging with new people and experiences. A very good evening to you, Venerable Kosa. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Supunika, for the great introduction. Thank you. Thank you, and for having me.
Okay, that's great. And on the other hand, we have Miss Charmaine Varnakula Surya. She is the growth coordinator for the Elegance Club. She is also currently the project manager at Hatton National Bank. One of her passions are counseling and personal training. And during her free time, she loves to read, travel, needlecraft, creative writing, and so on. Ms. Sherman also has a keen interest in archery and air rifle shooting. Her goal in life is vocational training and career training guidance for youth girls. Hello, Sherman. A warm welcome to you as well. How are you doing today?
I'm good, Supriya. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure having you too. So, without further ado, let's get into our much awaited questions. So, I would like to ask Venerable Kosala why we should read your book, the book you're presenting today. Venerable Kosala, you're not audible. Your voice isn't, uh, they're not clear. We can't hear you.
Sorry. Is this okay now?
Oh, yeah, it's better now.
Sorry for the inconvenience. Yes, I was talking like why we should read the book, right? So the
Yes.
book name is called Buddha Mind and Buddha Body by Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh, and he's from the Vietnam. And He's you may have heard his new he just passed away I think 2 months ago on January 22, and there are so many reasons why we should read this book. And one of the few things I would like to introduce here about the book is that this book is really something really related to our inner self, and also it's really simple and practical, because when it comes to the knowledge based about the mind, about the spirituality, especially which is from Buddhist side, right? People tend to think that like it's so complex or something deep and something hard to understand, right? So this is the general idea that people may have on the Buddhist teaching, right? So for this book, right? For this book, for me, after having read it, I really found it really simple and really practical. Because can you see me? Can you hear me well?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
I can.
Okay. Because the ideas, the teachings in the book is really based on the life experience, right? Not only the philosophical side, but in a very practical and in a very based on his own story and his own background, right? And also like because as the title goes, right, Buddha mind and Buddha body. And when I first saw the title, right, I think like wow, it might be some kind of related to the Buddha only, right? The Buddha who is the spiritual leader, the holy person, which is nothing to do with us, right? But when I got to read the book and read it, like I get to know that wow, this is something really related to people as a human being, right? Something really related to us as a human, that we can learn and that we can go through this book and see like that in ourselves there is some kind of called the tiny Buddha, right? Which is what he call like the tiny Buddha. There is very one of us, the tiny Buddha, which means the positive seeds, the positive quality of the mind in us. That is what we call the Buddha. So that's why it's really inspiring me to go through the book. And yeah, I also have done the presentation on the book from in the club last 2 days ago. So that's why there's some few reasons, right, that we should go and read the book. So check it out, right? The Buddha mind and Buddha body. So thank you.
That was wonderful. I definitely can't wait to read it. So, Charmaine, who is Sidney Sheldon and how do you see Sidney Sheldon?
Uh,
Sorry,
so, can you hear me? Am I audible?
you're audible, but your voice is breaking a little.
Okay. How is it now?
A little better than before.
So Sidney Sheldon is an amazing character. Uh, I was so fascinated by his works. In his first ever book, it was the this. It's not this book. It was the other. This was part two of the other side of the midnight. The work we converted here, and he was basically a script writer for movies, and later on he started creating his own. So he was a bestseller novel author from period. Uh, um, so he used his own experiences in these books. Um, he had a way of creating the story around in maybe you will you will come to this is not written in these books you are these books mix. So it's not biased to a side one type of a mix. So it's good for all.
Yes.
Sorry, there are disturbances with the signals.
As in, it was clear in the beginning, and then it started breaking towards the end when you said it is it's relevant for anyone, and he doesn't exactly
Uh,
only focus on a specific group.
if I picked up his books are like, if his books are like it's a mix of everything. Like you get romance in books, you get the detail into it, and also in his books that he talks about what a field. It could be anything, but you will learn in and out about that entire field. For an example, if I say there is one book, family who runs a pharmaceutical business. So he tells all in and out about how pharmaceutical business is run. So it's like so these books take you into a totally different am I clear here?
Yeah, you were clear till the last part about how you spoke about the book that relates to pharmaceuticals and how he explained everything. Shamin, are you still there? Okay, so that was great, Shamin. In fact, I've also read one of Sidney Sheldon's books, Tell Me Your Dreams, and I loved that book. Uh, so moving on to Venerable Kosala again. How does the mind work, and why is it important to understand how it works?
Okay, thank you. And for the second question, right? I raised this question from the book because I think that is really significant for us, right? To know and understand about our own mind because um, as a human or as a people, right? We're trying to learn everything, right? We're trying to learn and master everything except our own mind, right? I know it's just like very hard to accept the truth because sometimes because we're trying to master the skills which is very external thing, which is very far from us, like educationally or academically or anything, right? In order to get a good life that people call like to call a good life because we need those skills. But one of the things we are missing is that the understanding on our mind, right? It's because this is the really the foundation for the good life and the happy life. Because why? There is a you may have heard this phrase that say something like we are what we think, right? We are what we think. So it means like what we think is from our own mind, right? If we think in a positive way, then the positive things will follow us. It is very simple, right? We can really understand this point. So how does the mind work from the book? there he divided this in 2 points. I'm sure right, it's maybe a little bit confusing for you or for the audience, because at the first time I read the book, I also got some confusion, like it's very complicated, because as I said, as I mentioned, right, like it's very, some kind of, we need to go inside, not just reading the book, right? Not just reading the philosophy, the theory, and only read that is not enough, right? It's not accurate to understand on our mind. So as you know, as the book goes, like we have two levels of mind, and our mind have a deeper, and one is the surface mind. We call it the deeper and the surface mind, and the deeper level is called the stone mind, the stone consciousness, and the upper level is called uh, mind consciousness. Because for the deeper level, for the stone level, for the lower level, its function is to keep everything, right? Which he call it the seeds, right? The seeds that we plant on the garden or something like that, is he call it the seeds. So in this level, we have every kind of seed in this lower level of our mind. And for the upper level, that work normally, like the way we talk, the way we act, the way we think, the way we communicate, the way we interact with people, is come from the digital mind, powered by digital mind, digital consciousness, and our mind consciousness. There's, as you know, there's play as an actor, right? An actor, because behind the actor there is the screenwriter, the director, and something like that, right? So for the slow consciousness, or some people might be familiar with the word like the subconscious mind, right? Subconscious mind. So for the subconscious mind, the deeper layer mind, it works downly, and every kind of energy, positive, negative, is there in us. Because as a human, then sometimes people might think like that this person is totally bad person, right? Or we might have the conception that he is a totally good person. But according to the concept of this book, or this Buddhist teaching, right? In every one of us, we have two kinds of seeds, which is positive and negative. So it depends on how we take care of it. It depends on which seeds we feed the most, we water the most, right? If we choose to water the positive seed most daily, and then it will have the more energy, and it will comes up to your second level of mind, which is mind consciousness, right? But if we daily, right, water and give the power to the negative side, and then it will grow up, right? It will grow up, and it will be the main actor on the conscious level, right? On the conscious level. So if when we understand that, uh, like the our mind is in a position like that we can change, right? That we can change, because as he said, like one of the favorite quotes that I got from the book is that the quality of our life depends on the quality of the seeds in our mind, right? The quality of our life depends on the quality of the seeds in our mind. It means if we plant, and if we water, if we take care of the good seeds more, and then our life will be more better and will be more happier. Why? So how is that work? How is that work? How the seed is planted? Basically, it is planted in three ways, like from the five senses. Uh, I will make it a bit easier for you, right? For all the people here. So it's come to our mind. It's based on what we watch, right? It's based on what we watch. It's based on what we hear or what we listen to, and it's also based on what we eat or what we smell and what we do with, what we interact with. So it means if you choose the movie, let's say the movie, right? The movies, it was what the movie that is full of horror or full of violence, actions, right? So then probably there is a negative seed in you, right? And then it's going to be to get the power, to receive the power, and then it comes up. That's when people see the movie, and then they feel so bad, or they feel sometimes they feel angry, and they say like, oh, why this actor is acting in this way? I want to go and hit him, or I want to go and tell him to act in this way, to act in that way. So this is how we are being controlled by what we watch, right? This is what we watch. One example, right? So another thing that we really need to understand here is that our seed is our quality of mind is also empowered by the people we interact with, the people and the environment we are in, right? It's very clear, right? It's very clear. If you are in with the people who is very cunning or who is very get angry, feel cunning, and then you are going to get that kind of energy from him, right? So it's very practical, because if you live with that person daily, and then you are going to absorb that kind of energy in you, right? So it's also very important to choose the healthy environment for your for your mentality, and also to choose a good and a wise person who can provide you the good quality, because our life is depends on our mind, how we view the world and how we see the world. That is very important, right? So yeah, that is the answer for the second question. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. That was very inspiring. I'm sure a lot of us should learn how to control our minds, because most of us let our negative thoughts grow than
Mhm.
focusing on positive things.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
next we have a question for Sherman. What got you into reading this book? What attracted you to the book? I think you're muted. No, no, you're not audible.
How is it now? Is it clear?
Yeah, it's. I can hear you now.
Okay, thank you. So I was in my like about 20, maybe 30 years old. Suddenly I happened to see a movie, TV mini series, but not me, it was the latter part of the series. Name was engraved in my mind. The name was If Tomorrow Comes. And the story, there was a girl, she was a con artist, and her actions and everything, I was really attracted to that movie because of her actions and what she did. I'm a bit of a somebody like a bit of a boisterous person. I like actions and interest and stuff. So she was into that. The name engraved in my mind. It went a long time. Suddenly, once I started reading the first book of Sidney Sheldon, I saw this name under the. I had a feeling that this should be the same book. I was searching for this book, and then I got into the book and read it. So the mini series in my mind. So the book, I fell in love with the book itself, knowing that it's the story. Uh, the story has a very strong impact. It tells a strong message to the society. I was feeling so sad. This girl, a decent girl who falls into a con artist's life, and what sort of how much the society has contributed to convert her into that point. So I was so bad. I feel so bad because we do this on our life. We do this knowingly or unknowingly to people. So this new counseling uh, uh, I'm going to be in, it has a big meaning to me, and it tells me a lot how to look lives, how to see the people in our shoes. So I was really of these girls, how they're doing along the book. That is the main attracted to this story, and I really love it. Thank you.
That's really great. That's really nice to know. Uh, so, Venerable Cursor, can I know how knowledge is an obstacle to knowledge? Why is
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. Yes. Knowledge is an obstacle to knowledge, right? But people. So how would you think? How would you think? Why is that? I mean, like, is this really possible? Or it doesn't make sense.
It's a little confusing how knowledge can
Okay.
be the thing that's stopping knowledge.
Yeah, sure, sure. Uh, I'm same with you when I got to read the book first because when we come to knowledge, right, we also we are encouraged to learn more and more, to collect more and more knowledge, right? If you have the more knowledge and you are going to get a more chance or the more opportunity or in the field of your job or something like that. So in the opposite, right? In the opposite, as mentioned in the book, find the venerable Thich Nhat Hanh, why knowledge is the obstacle, because it becomes the obstacle, it's become the problem when there is the attachment to the view or to the knowledge. It right is the meaning. Again, our knowledge itself it doesn't make any trouble and any problem, but when we have some personal view or personal attachment to our own knowledge, and then it's gonna be the big problem. Why? Let me give you an example. Like if you, it's like you may have heard the famous concept that we as a people should live as a half class. We should have a mindset of the half class of the water, right? The half class, not the full person, right? If you already think that I am full already, I am already full all the time, and then there's nothing to go in the cup, right? Because you think you are full, you know everything. Because there is also the famous sentence or the famous saying that ignorance, knowing that you have the ignorance is the first step in getting knowledge, right? Is the first step. Why? If you know that, oh, there's something that I don't know yet, that I haven't learned yet, and then you're going to go and study and learn it. It's called like the growth mindset in the in the psychology or in the science way. So it's mean why is that? Because there is also one story, one beautiful story I would like to also share here within here, because it is a very short story, how knowledge is an obstacle to the knowledge. There's one father, right, who went on the journey for the trade, and he has one son, a baby son, about 9 or 10 years old, left behind at the home. And also at that night, the bandit came to their village, and so he robbed, he arrested every person in the village, and also including his sons. And when he got back, and then he found one body, one dead body, a very small baby dead body, and then he go and hold the baby and crying, right, crying deeply, crying hardly, and oh, it's my baby, and my baby is gone, and then he crying and crying, and then he cremated his body, his baby, his sons, and then he took the ash of his sons whenever he go, and then so one night when he was sleeping, right, when he was sleeping, and he also hug, he also put the ash of his son beside him, and then at that night, right, the young boy had escaped from the bandit, from the robber, and then he came home, and then he knocked at the door of his dad house, who was sleeping, right? His dad was there. Who was knocking at the door? And then his son said, it's me, daddy, it's me, daddy. Please open the door for me, right? And his dad said no, no, my son is already dead. My son was already dead, and don't come and play any trick at the times, right, at the night time. So he get really angry, and then he also asked the boy to go away, right? So the boy tries so many times, right, to trying to tell that he was still alive, right? He was still alive, and that he was his son. But finally, the boy has to give up and go away. So that's why the baby, his that son, that father, had lost his son forever. So why is that? When we look at this story, and when we see the point, the main point is that his dad, right, his son, the father, he already had, he is full of the perception that, he is full of the knowledge that his son is already dead. And then even though his son come and knock at his door, and then he never believed it again. He never believed it again, because he already attached, he already had a strong belief, a strong attachment to his perception, to his view, to his knowledge that this is what it is, right? This is what it is. There's nothing to change about it. He had firmly believed what he believed. So there is a very, um, a very a very big problem for people to accept the new change. So this is how so briefly, when there's attachment, when it's the strong attachment, the strong clinging to our own views, there's nothing to grow. There's no more space, right? There's no more space to grow, right? So that's when just be open and just keep open minded whenever you go, because we learn new everything. We learn new thing every day from every person, because every person and everything is has something to teach us, right? To teach us. It depends on how we are we going to open or are we going to close, and then it's really depends on us, right? So yes, it's really significant reminder for us, right? Yeah.
That was very enlightening. Thank you for answering that question and clearing most of our thoughts. So Shumian, what is that one special feature of the works of Sidney Sheldon?
Yeah, he has a couple of special features I have come across in because I have read
Okay.
about more than 50 of his books. The collection. Mainly, he has a in only one book I came across male uh, main role hero. The book character is going through everything under the and going through the mail. At the end, he does really good justice to that person to satisfy us also, because we feel so sorry about this person and phases and the troubles encounter all that, and finally uh, we see it, he does a very strong justice to that person, all of us, the character as well as the reader. So you feel happy at the end of the book that this character is not destroyed. That is one. And the other main feature is tells uh, the one book was about pharmaceutical company, how good and bad. There was one book about this. So yeah, never knew those both are all the read to written amazed to see. Oh my God, this is happening on Earth. The master of it was about uh, who who is into the environment. So what happens? South Africa were and he telephones and how it uh, developed the things happens in business families in business bigger that it's about that we have never known before. Not is a he has written study that two features and so attract his work.
That's very interesting to know, and I think more people should read books of Sidney Sheldon. So the next question is from Venerable Kosala. Um, How significant is it to lead a mindful
Yes.
life?
Yes. So for the for this question is really important to us to remind us every day like am I leading a mindful life, because leading a mindful life is what you define as a fully alive person, right? A fully alive person. So when we said are you alive and then we said yeah I'm alive, but are you really sure like are you alive? Because most of the time we are not aware that we are alive, because most of the time we are sitting here but our mind is somewhere else. That's what happens, right? That's what happens in the 24 hours. We need to measure, right? In how many hours I'm with my body, how many hours I'm not caught in my thought, I'm not caught in the my past regression, my past failure, and my future project. How many times, how many hours did I live as a free person, as a free person, right? As a free person means to be here and to be here, to live in this moment deeply, to enjoy your life as like oh I'm alive. I have so many conditions. There are so many conditions available in this very moment to make me happy, because being alive is also is already it already can bring us some happiness, some joy, because life is the most precious, right? Are you agree? Do you agree? Right? Is there anything more precious than our life? Right? We can't, right? Like that, this phone costs 3,000. This phone costs 3 million, and they can set the price for the things, right? But our life, we can't set it. We can't set it, right? This is we can, right? So many people trying to get their life back, right? When they get ill, right? When they got like they got sick, but some people they don't have a chance to live anymore. So we see how precious and how precious being alive, being here, and your breathing is working properly in every moment. But instead, we are rarely, right? We are rarely being aware that we have the breathing that is being that's going through our in and out of our body. So leading a mindful life is the very this is the first step why we should lead a mindful life, to be aware that we are alive. And the second thing is that to see that there's something going inside us, right? It's going inside us. One of the things people tend to ignore themselves, tend to go deep, tend to come back at their own and look at their own mind, is that there's some painful memory, right? There's some suffering inside us. There's some painful memory. There's something that we can't accept it, that we can look at. We think is as a disgusting part or as a dark side of us, that we think some ugly part of ourselves. But instead, if you with the energy of mindfulness, we come and see that oh, I am as a human being. I have some as is related to the first question like that. We have so many negative seeds down there. At the same time, we also have the positive. So when we with the energy of mindfulness, we come and see that I have the positives there, and then I will generate this positive more and more, and then I will take care of our own on my own negative thing, because negative seeds or negative energy in us is he compare is at a crying baby, right? At a crying baby, and the positive seeds is as a mother, right? So mother and the child, when the child is crying, right? The child is crying. He has some suffering. He has some painful in her or in himself. And what does the mother do? The mother need to care the baby, right? Right? As a mother, we don't go and hit the baby, right? We don't go and we don't abandon the baby crying alone. Right? We don't do that, right? It's not a good mother, right? To say that. So as a mother, he need to come back to her child, right? To hold the baby first. Just hold the baby first. You may have seen it. Just hold them, and then, uh, you know, just hold them tenderly with kindness, right? With the awareness that, oh, my baby was wrong with you or something, and then he will stop crying, right? He will stop crying immediately. So it is one fact, and then we will find out more why the baby is crying, right? Maybe something caused him some painful, sensation in the body, or right. We'll find out more. This is very important, right? And the last step why we should lead a mindful life is that it is the main energy, or let's say we can say the main energy or the first step that we get to interact with people. Then, so let me ask you one question to Punika, right? In your workplace, most people are unhappy about their job, right? Some people, right? So why is that? Is it because of the difficulty of the job, or because of they have some people that they are unhappy about, or they had some people they find it difficult to deal with? So which one is more difficult, the job or the people? Which one you say?
I think it depends on person to person. Some people might love the job they do, but
Mm-hmm.
they might find it hard to fit in to deal with the people. But then another set
Yeah.
of people, they might get along well with the people, but they
Mm-hmm.
might find it a little hard when it comes to work. The stress, the
Sure, sure.
workload.
Sure, sure. Because as you said, right, some people they love the job, and then even though even though there's some difficulty in job, they might try to find a way outside for someone, right? Because the job can be done, right? The job is never beyond our human ability, right? But yeah, when it comes to people, dealing with people, it's very difficult. It's very difficult because we have something that we are not quite get along with, and then everything is so difficult. When we enter to the office, we feel like we are in the hell already, right? When we see that person, we feel that person is already there, so everything become harder and harder, right? So it's not mainly the job. So why? So he said like with the energy of mindfulness, we can see that when the people is acting, behaving like inappropriately, or acting something that cause us feel sad, or that that feel like make us feel unhappy about that person, we need to see him. We need to look at him with the energy of mindfulness. Like that person may be going through some kind of difficulty, or he may not getting what he wants, or he may have some problems in the family, in his family background, or in his educational background or something. So with that awareness, we get to see that person. We need to we will have more interest in seeing what in we have more the curiosity on, oh, what's wrong with that person. I need to find out, right? Not just like the immediately jumps and gets angry with that person immediately, right? But we need to go and see that person again, like maybe he's have some problem, and then when we find out, oh, he there is something behind that, that he behaving in this way, and then you get more understanding on that person. With that understanding, you have more compassion to hit that person, right? You want to help him. At least you get the understanding on that person, and you are not going to blame him anymore. Either he's a bad person, he's acting not impolitely or something. He's not say something any any good word to me, or any pleasant word to me, or right. He never smiled to me or something like that. And then you will see that he has full of energy, full of negative energy in him, suffering in him, and then we want to help him, at least just understanding him. And then this is how the trust, then we have built the trust between these two kinds of person, right? So it starts from mindfulness. With mindfulness there's an understanding, then it leads to compassion, and then with compassion we truly have the deep faith, the deep trust on each other. So these are three main steps why we should lead the mindful life. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are easy to judge. They just make the first judgment instead of getting to know the
Sure.
person. Okay, so Sherman, what is the key takeaway of the book you would tell someone who you would want to read this book?
I talk about the ways. So every book, trust. There are a lot of key. Sometimes we don't see these yet in these books. Uh, so the key takeaways of handful. Uh, it, anything could happen to you in your life at any given time. You will never know. You could turn in. You should not lose your moral values, your uh, inbuilt values, which he was into con artist, but for that she had a very strong opportunity of looting somebody, but she did not do that. You will find these points what I'm telling you, and it tells that life is not unfair or fair. There are moments of ups and downs. So if you are ready, it's like generally we when everything is fine and moving smooth, and when things are coming into a rough sea, we suddenly get panic, including God and her man and you name it. Even the earth is Mother Earth is answerable to our problems. Sometimes we into that sort of panic situation. So uh, so we have to understand that life is not fair or unfair continually. So I saw that her life goes ECG. It's not a straight line or even down like this. So it's what our lives as well. Then again, this girl, no matter its story, she didn't lose her courage. She didn't lose her power. Realized the situation where she stands and how much strong the enemy is like, but she did not lose her courage. She had that determined uh, determination, and she was in a mission of getting out of that tough situation to life, because she was a decent girl. She wanted to get back to that decent life where she was continually. And book, of course, at this story, she reaches that point. Uh, the movie does to that point, it stops at a little before that and allows us to think about, okay, what happens to this girl? What is she going to do with this other guy? Uh, uh, and I can say is, way in, there is a way out. So she falls into a bigger trap, and she have to keep her mind clear, see the things, sequences, and evaluation and get out of it. She did not go panic and herself destroyed. So that is another good. No matter how grave your situation is, if you are into a situation, there's a way out as well. If and you will see the way out. That we don't do most of the time when we are in also life is choice between good and bad. You can turn it into something uh, it can be acceptable or unacceptable depending on what you have faced. But still, you have the power to decide whether you're going to destroy your life or turn yourself into something not acceptable, or whether you have the power to fight, get back to an accept life that you will be happy about yourself one fine day. You will not uh, bring out of that. So that also tells that I just found in this book, in this story. So these are takeaways which I came, and if I add a little more, there are people, including you, me, and every people labeled because of something that they happen to face in their life. We label category and we don't ask them to get out of it and live normal life. We always see them within that label. So that is how does that person feels. when that person is being labeled and marked into a frame, how that frame that we have never thought. But by reading this book, and not at the first time, to do the presentation when I was flipping through the pages, I saw how this, because of my counseling part, now I have stopped labeling people. No matter what they do, there's a reason behind for them to become that whatever it is. We have to sit and sit particularly help them come up. We sit on the they down and look down upon them and say, hey, you look here, you get out of that, you have it's not that the way, and walk through that part of them. Then we will be able to understand that situation better, as well as we will be able to help that person to come out of that. Also, one key takeaway and share with you from this book.
I think those are great key takeaways for everyone to note down, because most of us, when we're anxious, like you said, we panic. Instead of focusing on something that we can do to get out of a situation, we just panic and we blame pretty much everyone in the whole world. So, yes, those are really great key takeaways. So, this is the final question for Venerable Kosler. Could you point out the habits of happiness from the book?
Sure, because before sharing those habits, there's one famous quote by this venerable, like happiness, there's no way to happiness, right? There's no way to happiness, because happiness is also already the way. It means you need to start to feel happy, to be happy. And there's no way to make you happy, because happiness, you just need to be happy right away. That is the main step. And actually, there is a tons and tons of the plenty of habits given by this venerable, because and these habits are very easy and something we related to our own life. And I have chosen only two of them. One is mindful breathing, and the other one is called mindful walking. So this is the continuation of the mindful living, because as I said right before, breathing. So breathing is very precious, right? Very precious. So during the time of COVID-19, right, we will see this point, how important it is for people to breathe. They're trying to, we lost a lot of oxygen. We need it very, the most, right, in that moment. So being able to breathe is already a joy, right? If you are having some kind of a hard time taking a breath in and out, do you feel happy, right? No, right? We can't feel any happy. You had a runny nose and then there's also feel pain. So being able to breathe in and out smoothly is already one greatest joy that we can experience already, right? And also breathing, one of the important breathing that we should practice is that should undertake is that, um, is it the energy that can combine or that can unite the body and the mind, because most of the time our body is somewhere and our mind is somewhere, but the breathing, right, the breath is like the ambassador, right, between these two. And when we become and take a notice on our in breath and out breath only for 3 or 4 seconds, and then suddenly our body and mind are together. Sometimes you may sit and worry or thinking about sometimes like of my future. There's a lot to do and I have to do this, I have to do that. And there's a lot more to do and you are in that state of worrying. But when you come back, oh, I need to breathe, just breathe. Stop thinking and then just noticing your in breath and your in breath and out breath. And suddenly you are free. You are already free from that kind of project that's going to happen in the future, right? So it's also combined. It also call your body and it's bind your body and mind together again. So and also it's very important with the mindful breathing. It gives us the courage to to see the painful, as I said before, like with the mindful living, right? Because when it comes to the sadness or the mind, the negative that is in us, most people tend to do, what they tend to do is they would like to cover up, right? When they feel angry, when they feel sadness, when they have some broken relationship, right? And then they tend to turn it away, or they want to ignore it. Or in other way, they want to cover it up. How? By drinking, by consumption, by entertainment, by going to anywhere, right? By talking with friends or something. So these are helpful though, but it's not. It's just for the temporary, and sometimes it can also cause for the further addiction, like they have some drug addiction or something like that, and sometimes it may also cause you some disease, some kind of disease. So, but with just being aware that there is some pain in you, with the power of your breathing in and out, take a 2 or 3 seconds or minutes daily, right? Daily, and then you become notice your breathe in breath and out breath, and then you're going to able to, you have the courage, you have the strength to go and see yourself more, accept more. And one easy step to do this mindful breathing is that, as a as their community, it is vulnerable community, they have some program like the set in their computer, like in every 15 minutes, they will have a bell, a sound of the bell. They call it a mindfulness bell, right? Mindfulness bell. So when they work in every 15 minutes, it's very automatically, this sound of bell will automatically comes up, and then when this sound comes up, they will stop everything and just breathing in and out fully, right? Fully. They stop doing everything, and then they focus on the in breath and out breath for maybe only for last for 10 seconds. So it's something that they do. Because of that, they are most of the time they are not caught up in their ideas, in their thought. So with this practice, it's really help us to become a free person, a happier person. So if I may share one another thing, which is mindful walking. We as a person, we walk every day, right? We walk from our home to our office, from the shop to the shop to the market, right? But most of the time, we don't feel like that we are walking on the earth. Where? Because most of the time, our feet is touching the earth, but our mind is somewhere else. Like suppose you are out home, and then you are going to the bus stop, and then you are already caught up in the thought that, oh, today there might be a lot of people at the bus stop, or so when I reach to the office, what I'm gonna do, or what how the other friends are gonna tell about me or gossip about me, right? Or I have a lot of work to do, right? That's unfinished job, unfinished work, and you worry about your boss, right? So such kind of thing, right? Most of the time our body and mind are already separated, or most of the time. That's why we are people this day. People are easily get distracted and feel pressed, feel stressful, because of their body and mind are always in separate, right? In separate. So with mindful walking, when you walk, just notice that I'm walking. You just need to act normally, right? You just when you're walking, just notice that I'm walking. I'm walking, not let yourself be in the ocean of your thought, or in the ocean of your habit energy, right? But notice that I'm walking. So with that kind of practice, is really how you become fully a person, fully alive person. Yeah, there's 2 habits that I would like to share within here. So yeah.
That was very insightful. Thank you for that, because even I have walked and my mind's completely elsewhere. I'm always thinking about something else. So I guess that's a good thing everyone should learn.
Yeah,
So
sure.
much, so much, Sherman. The last question for you is: what are the outstanding features of Sidney Sheldon's book, this particular book, compared to the rest of his books?
Mainly, this book is a huge one. It's more than 500. When you see the book, you will feel like, oh my God, am I going to read this everything? But once you start it, you will not feel that you have passed 500 pages. You want to read more. Uh, so it's so attractively created. So the book is parts. It goes like book one, book two, and book three. The book one tells what happens to this girl originally with her greatest happiness mind, the mind which is in a fairy tale. Suddenly she comes down to earth and torn apart, and within a week she is being imprisoned, and how she is framed into this imprisonment, and how her entire family, her father hardly constructed with so much of effort, that entire business is destroyed, how it all happened, her life was inside the prison. Like, uh, it's not beautiful. In America, uh, imprisonment is it's when what we think here. I, I don't think even for a lady life going through, even that bad situation, strong and on to get out of prison, because she believes in herself. She gets a better way to come out of it. When she comes out to society, the society is not ready to accept her as an she is, so she can't live a normal life. This is where I told you to be the people. Without realizing that person is that way. Um, the interesting part which I saw in this book was her con artist, how to place and drop things. That action part was really attractive because I'm a bit of an action person, as I told you. I like the times I'm the same. This is part only I saw in that movie. Uh, so even if I have read, I have seen his work, still it is number one my world because of these things. How he gradually brings moral values that you will see when you read this book. It's a very interesting book, and if possible, I think the movie you will be able to find in you. I got little clip. So try the movie is also okay. Book is, you will see, if you have at least one children, you will see this book is totally amazing, different, and taking it to a different uh, and opens up your mind into a totally different side of this world which I never even thought about. So book as the top of the list. If I list down Sidney Sheldon's books, this is number one for me. And number two is Master of the Game we told you about. Diamond Mine, but still it's tomorrow. Even that title, I like it. Tomorrow. It gives you uh, an excitement, with of anger. If tomorrow comes, you never know.
That was very insightful, and I probably will read this book too, considering I have read his books before. This I haven't. I definitely read it now. So thank you so much for that. So now we have come to the end of another interesting Flipside. So with that, we conclude the Flipside webinar series organized by Pick a Book Sri Lanka. And as you know, Pick a Book Sri Lanka brings the vision, has the vision to change the participants' sense of self through the wonders of literature, and they mainly inspire change. And I think from this episode, we were able to inspire a lot of change with two very, very interesting books. Thank you so much once again to the presenters, Venerable Kosala and Miss Sherman, and all of you who joined in today. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, Suponika, and thank you, Shami, for a
Thank
wonderful
you.
session. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Supunika. Thank you, Venerable Co-Seller, sharing that very interesting book.